Hey guys, APOC here, and today we are back with a new 12-win Grand Challenge deck. Now this deck is a lot more aggressive than some of my recent decks I have posted, so I really hope you guys enjoy it for a different playstyle. So today we have our Giant plus a lot of Swarmy cards. So every other unit in this deck besides the Giant is going to make multiple units. Like the Night Witch is going to make the Bats, the Ram is going to drop the 2 extra Barbarians. So our main push in this deck is going to be just Giant plus Night Witch. Oftentimes, if this is in response to them playing a pump, I have taken down their tower just in one push, and it can become very difficult to defend when you only got 4 elixir to defend. So, also, this deck does a lot of split pushing with the Battle Ram, as the Battle Ram does require a very strong response, where if you don't, it could take down pretty much your entire tower in one hit. So, a bit of an elixir lead kind of leads to a double push, kind of similar to the way some of the 3 Musketeer decks play, where they also play a lot of the swarm-based cards. So in this challenge, I actually played 14 games, because I went 12-2, and in 10 of them, I faced the Night Witch. That's really showing you just how powerful she is in this meta. It's really just unreal, the strength of her. I did see something on Reddit saying that her win percent in grand challenges is something like 64%. Now that's just incredible. So besides that, if you think about it, that it's listed as 64%, but a lot of the games are Night Witch versus Night Witch, so that evens out to only 50-50. So I would say that, you know, those numbers are skewed even higher once you factor out that she's also facing herself. So let's quick open this chest, and then we'll get right into those matches. Okay, so definitely needed that 22,000 gold. Was running pretty dry. A sweet 1 minion. So my rares are starting to get close to max. It's pretty exciting. Some of them are about 500 away, some are as low as 100 away. Giant is max, so as we see here, a couple of those did transfer into gold. I just don't have the gold yet to finish maxing it out. Barbarian Hut as well. Getting those Inferno Towers. Some Valkyries. Valkyries about only 150 away. Oh man, 659 Goblin Gang. 3,255 gold. We didn't get our epics yet. So let's see what we get. No legendary this time, unfortunately. Once again. Okay, so 11 balloons, not too bad. Great. So let's hop into these matches. Now this first match is versus TNT. Now TNT is currently 106 in the world, but he finished last season at 59 at Ultimate Champion. Very, very impressive. So let's get right into this match. Okay. So we don't have the optimal starting hand here, so what we'll do is we'll just cycle our skeletons in the back. And then we'll drop our Night Witch. And unfortunately, our Night Witch is going to meet his counter, the Executioner. So what we're going to do here is we are just going to start that split push that I was talking about. And he doesn't really have anything to stop our Battle Ram, so he has to Tornado. And this does get our Barbarians right on that tower, which is nice. So we're going to drop a Giant in the back so that we can do a bit of tanking, and then we're going to lightning this all down to start. Those bats get taken out, and then we'll use our skeletons to take down his Giant. Now our Giant will start his push. Okay, so he drops a baby dragon as well as skeletons. We'll get a couple Giant punches off over here. That was pretty bad placement of my minions, unfortunately. They should have been way more to the left, as they did just get eaten by that baby dragon. But if you think about it, that Battle Ram, it cost him a Tornado, which is 3. Now it cost him a Giant, which is 5. So that's a pretty good trade. So now we can start with our Night Witch again. We can get into another push right here. So this time we did not play our giant, as I was hoping that we would catch that executioner in the back that we could lightning and try to get that tower a little bit lower. But well played by him to keep that Night Witch out of lightning range. And then we had to counter with our Goblin Gang, but that was easily handled by that baby dragon, which we'll just take a couple hits on over here. So finally we get to that executioner in the back so that we can finally start some damage on him. And now we find his real win condition, the graveyard. Okay, so our Night Witch is doing a good job taking down that giant, and our lone minion is doing an okay job on that graveyard. We were able to save it, but he does do an excellent tornado here, pretty much stopping us in our tracks. And then we can get a value lightning plus a punch. So right here, all we have to do is just a bit of defense. So we'll drop our Night Witch so that we can start defense, and then our Goblin Gang to clean up, and just a little bit of hope with that arrows, and we're able to finish this off. Now if we did go into double, if we lost that tower, we did have a bit of a elixir advantage on that, sorry, health advantage on that other tower. All in all, not too bad. So that's a good way that's a good game against a very skilled player. We did face, I think, 4 Night Witch graveyard decks in this. We are going to go back a game. This one is going to be versus 3 musketeers. And I would say that Night Witch graveyard, Golem Night Witch, and 3 musketeers are going to be the main decks that you're facing in Grand Challenges currently. So with that in mind, this deck's got good matches against those. I would say that it doesn't have the best matchup versus bait decks. Ones that are true bait, playing Inferno Tower and Log. That can be pretty rough. As we do have lightning, but it still can be difficult to get through all those other swarms without the Log. So we were able to make a nice connection with our battle ram, but we weren't able to get them locked onto the tower. But really, he doesn't even get a counter push with this, which is pretty nice. So I don't like to start my giant pushes in the back with this deck as much. I would prefer to start with Night Witch in the back. This way she can start building up some bats, and then we can drop our giant in the front. Okay, so we're going to drop our giant right in front of that Night Witch on the one musketeer side. Then we will lightning down the other. So our Night Witch should be able to handle that musketeer with their bats, which is nice. Our Night Witch also handles this battle ram, which is great. And once again, he does not get a push to come back at us. And we do get some nice damage on the tower here. Okay, now back with our own Goblin Gang, see if we can get some chip. So he'll have to respond with that Night Witch in not a proper placement, meaning that we should be able to counter her on our side of the map for a good value. So we got our Night Witch down, and that should be able to lead to another giant Night Witch push. Okay, so giant Night Witch coming down, and here we are ready. And he lays that 3 musketeer in the middle, and it immediately gets lightninged. For that big lightning, for that giant positive elixir trade of a +3. Our giant is still up, our bats are doing work, and now we can start our next push. We'll go with the battle ram on the left and incoming with that Goblin Gang. And really, there's just kind of over. Okay, so that's tower number 2. We'll start our Night Witch push. His Night Witch is still up. So we'll get off another lightning ending those musketeers. And he does have just enough to hold us off. But a nice 2-0 victory with barely any damage done to our tower. Those 3 musketeers were never really a threat. having arrows plus lightning makes dealing with Musketeer minion horde pretty good. So that does, I would say that I had a very good matchup against this. I did face 4 of them. I beat all 4 of them in this. So that does show you the strength of this. Finally, let's get into our 12-win match. Okay. So once again, let's just cycle our skeletons in the back. He does the same. We'll drop our Night Witch. And unfortunately the same thing happens. They drop an Executioner on the same side our Night Witch. So we don't want to walk our Night Witch into an Executioner really, but she's just going to die and I've pretty much already accepted that. So instead we're going to start our giant push on the other side. He's going to go with a Tornado. Okay, so he tornadoes, but our minions were able to lock on. And they got over 1,000 damage onto the tower, which is beautiful. And just like that, that's 1,200 damage off the tower. We use our skeletons to distract that Night Witch. And 1 battle axe stab takes her out. Now we're ready to start our Night Witch push. And unfortunately, it's not looking too good, as the Tornado Executioner is definitely doing its job. Okay, so no damage taken. We are able to get a lightning here that does not take them out, but does weaken them and give us some chip. So we'll get our minions on the tower right here, defending this graveyard, and our skeletons to tank and spank with the tower to take out that Executioner with only minimal damage taken. So I would say all in all, not too bad. Okay, so he does have an elixir lead plus the Night Witch here, with the Night Witch on the board that we have to respond to. Now we're about tied. Okay. So we're going to split push here, and the reason we're going to do this is because we want him to react to the other side. So he reacts to the other side, makes him split up his push. This allows, then we can get our lightning down. So we lightning, we arrows, and then we're able to just trade with his knight for our skeletons, as it doesn't really do him any good over there. So now we get our Night Witch on his Night Witch. We'll counter his graveyard with our goblin gang, as it's not in the poison, as he tried to poison our Night Witch. So not too much damage taken here. So once again, back with that Executioner. Once again, we will lightning. That puts it down into 1 more lightning range. We're not going to get any damage here. He's going to go for another push here. So we're going to tank and spank with our Battle Ram. Our Battle Ram does a great job soaking up all this damage. And even though it's in the poison, we're going to drop our Goblin Gang just as a last second defense, just so that we can get back to our lightning. Make sure we keep our tower nice and healthy. So sometimes, even at the end of the game, I don't always recommend dropping troops right into your poison, but sometimes that's the best decision to make, just to make sure that graveyard doesn't get to you. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this deck. I think I'm going to play it a little bit more. I'm having a pretty good time with it. If I do save up some elixir, maybe some gold, maybe I can get this upgraded to play a little bit on ladder as well. Let me know what you think in the comments about this deck, or whatever decks that you would like to see me play. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Hit that like and subscribe button. Peace.